I'd been back and forth to the doctors for several months before I was diagnosed, and I only ended up getting diagnosed when I did because I had a private blood test after I couldn't get one for several weeks from my GP surgery. The problem is with blood cancer, unlike lots of other forms of cancer, it doesn't necessarily manifest itself in a lump or some obvious physical signs. And so it does often go undiagnosed, and there's been a lot in the media recently, celebrities, partners and things like that, where people have had blood cancer and they haven't known. And I was so close to it being too late, and they told me that, you know, that I could have had as little as a week if they didn't start chemotherapy within a few days. And it's because the doctors don't necessarily know which symptoms to look out for because they're not necessarily obvious lumps and things. And so it's really important to me to raise awareness and to let people know what the symptoms of blood cancer are, and to just tell people if there's something wrong, go to the doctors, don't put it off. Because if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have been the pushy, impatient person that I am, I wouldn't be here. And I suspect you'd be having a very different conversation with Matt now. So yeah, it's really important to me to raise awareness.
But did you actually request a blood test, but you refused it?
No, I requested a blood test because I knew something was wrong. So I pushed and said I wanted a blood test, and I couldn't get one for another 2.5 weeks. We now know if I'd waited 2.5 weeks, I would have died. Actually, when that 2.5 weeks came, despite my GP surgery knowing that I'd been for a private blood test because the results got faxed from the private hospital to my GP surgery, 2.5 weeks came when I was meant to have had the blood test, which they forgot to cancel. And I got a phone call saying they were cancelling it anyway because the nurse had called in sick. So I wouldn't have even got it 2.5 weeks later. It would have been even longer than that, and I almost certainly would have been dead. Which makes me even more angry, because if it wasn't for the fact that I'm fortunate enough to have private healthcare through my employers, I wouldn't be here. And how is that fair to people out there that don't have private healthcare and have to rely on GP surgeries putting them forward for blood tests? Matt and I are cycling, or aiming to cycle. I'm going to give it everything we've got, cycling from London to Paris to raise as much money as we can for Cure Leukemia. And yeah, we want to get the message out there and let everybody know, well, multiple things really. We want to raise money for the charity who's helped me so much and patients like me to do incredible things, and for, you know, treatment and research nurses for leukemia patients on the haematology wards, but also to, you know, to tell people what the symptoms of blood cancer are, like, you know, bruises, headaches, gum infections, all the things I had, swollen glands, to get that message out there, and also to inspire people. And, you know, if I can do it 6 months after finishing chemotherapy and not even being able to walk to the toilet unassisted, then other people can do it. And also to blood cancer patients or cancer patients generally going through this now and going through treatment and thinking that they might die, like I did every day, and like I still don't know that I won't. You know, I have to get tested every 3 months. I'm a long way from being told I've been cured, certainly for the next few years. You know, to tell those people that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and all being well, they might survive, and they might go on to do things like London to Paris themselves and other big challenges. But the unfortunate reality is that so many of the patients in the ward that I was in at the Queen Elizabeth, where I had some brilliant treatment and some brilliant staff looking after me, so many of those patients don't make it, and people died all the time around me on that ward. And it's a really horrible reality that happens, and so it's really important to raise awareness and do what we can for the charity. Hi, so it's Thursday the 14th of September. I have been in here now since Tuesday the 15th of August. Fed up. The type of leukemia that I had is, well, generally affects men over 65. I was a 33-year-old woman, you know, and the thing I said on my Just Giving page, etc., is it's always someone else until it's you. And that was the case. So you always think it's going to be someone else, and it was me, and it was us and our lives that were turned upside down. You just never know.
I guess I'm naturally quite calm, and I coped, but it was coping and surviving in a different way, but just trying to keep the wheels going and keep everything happening, and just trying to keep constantly buying food,
kept telling
to the hospital and
telling
washing.
me I wasn't going to die and buy me brownies. I'm still not cured. We won't know I've been cured for a long time. So to find out I was in remission was brilliant. But for me, it's a much longer journey.
It's not like you see on TV. The treatment doesn't just end and then it's like, yeah, you're cured, or yeah, you're fine. You know, it's not like there's a problem, they can cut it out with blood cancer. It's coursing through your veins, quite literally. I guess the real key moment is going to be when the doctor says,
I'm cured.
we don't need to see your we don't need to test your bone marrow anymore because it's fixed.
That day isn't yet there, but when that day comes, when I'm told that no more bone marrow biopsies, and as far as they're concerned, I'm cured, that will be...
And there's been lots of little...
I'm expecting lots of presents on that day.